Good morning. Coffee and football. Time for a little pen and paper football by John M. Stater. This is my American Football Association 1954 league. So, of course, I'll continue this on, but it's a six-team 1954 concept. We are in week 2. This is game 1. We have the Twin City Terrors, who are 0-1, having lost in the first week. Twin City lost in the first week at home against Atlanta. The Atlanta Generals defeated them 24-19. So they come in here 0-1. They have a great offense, but a bad defense. Chicago Tigers here at Wrigley Field. Johnny Grantham is a smash mouth coach. By the way, Twin City Terrors are coached by Chuck McCall, a balanced coach. Quarterback for Twin Cities, Kirby. Their backs are Andrews and Bennett. The receivers are Washington, Swanson, and Tomar. Their place kicker is Matthews. The return man is Lincoln. So this is normally how I play my pen and paper games. Everything is using the league rules, which are fast play. You roll per quarter scores. I always set up the names of my players. If they have a star player, they have a star by that. That star player may come up in the results deck more often, giving them greater impact in the box scores for Defensive Player of the Year awards, things like that, MVP awards. Okay, back to the game here. Chicago Tigers are at home. They are also 0-1. They lost on the road as well to New Jersey. The Titans 24-20. So Twin Cities lost 24-19. The Tigers lost on the road, and the Tigers on the road lost 24-20. So these two teams, both on the road, lost in almost identical scoring games. This team features an average offense but a fantastic defense. So in that sense, we're seeing, and when you look at this, you think, boy, that's not a big range of numbers to make big differences. But then you come over here after you match them up and you look. Twin City will go into this game with a +0 scoring percentage. Chicago at home against this defense with an average offense will be a +15% scoring team. So Chicago clearly, although they have an average offense, facing this defense has a big boost. Well, it's a big, but +3 is a pretty significant boost on the D20. It's a 15% scoring boost. So again, for details of my box scores, I use a fast action deck of my own and you can see over the years I've had multiple. This was the absolute original fast action deck I used way back in I want to say 2019, 2020, when we first started the Patriot Football League using pen and paper football. This was the very first highlights deck I used. Then I graduated up to this highlight deck, which I still keep. And then I have a small deck that I was using. This really limits, though, the result the broad range of results. These are probably still my two favorite decks, but I created another deck a while back for travel that I can carry with me in case it gets lost or messed up. And because of that, I've been using it steadily. Okay, with that being said, we're going to play a little of this amazing pen and paper football. So we're going to open up to the league play charts. League play charts are very simple. Every quarter we're going to roll. We're going to modify that D20 roll to find out how many points a team scores. I go the extra distance to get that feeling of detail from the players. And again, I always have my starters, and I have depth on my defense to give me, again, all that extra stuff. All right, so we're going to be rolling the D20. So Twin City will get the ball. What do they score in the first quarter? 17, no modifier. They're going to score 7 points. How do they score their 7 points? It's going to be a 19-yard pass to the fullback, Bennett. So Kirby, 19-yard pass to Bennett. And folks, the Twin City Terrors take the lead in the first quarter. Chicago adding 23. Holy cow, Chicago blows up. So Chicago's going to score 14 points. Chicago, so I'll put on an extra Chicago here. An 11-yard run for Dobson. 11-yard run, PAT. And their second touchdown is a 13-yard run for Dobson. So Dobson in the first quarter finishing up 2 drives for the hometown Chicago Tigers. Twin Cities 7, Chicago first quarter up 14-7, folks. And right now, Johnny Grantham, the coach of the Tigers, with that smash mouth offense, has seen his top back punch in 2 touchdowns already. And that's looking a lot like I would expect it to look. All right, Twin City continuing into the second quarter. Where do they score? They do not score. Why don't they score points? It's a series of punts. So they're basically going to be looking at a series of punts. Chicago, what do they do with a plus 320? They're going to score another 10 points. Wow, Chicago is going to get a field goal of 28 yards from their field goal kicker, Wims. Wims with a 28-yard field goal, and their touchdown is going to be a 42-yard run for their running back. Dobson gets his third, and it's a 42-yard run. Holy cow, P.A.T. Folks, Dobson has got 3 rushing touchdowns, and he's already got 40, 50, 65, 66 yards in just touchdown runs. Folks, Twin Cities, again with that plus 7 defense, is in deep trouble. It is 10 more, 24-7 at halftime. Chicago giving the hometown fans here at Wrigley Field something to cheer about. Holy cow. 1954 can be what's called broken field gaming. Back in the day, tackling could be a bit sloppy, and they called them broken field. It's broken field football. A lot of guys working through traffic, dodging tacklers, leaping past tacklers, can create very exciting and explosive play in the 1950s. My league would be no different than the NFL in the 50s. And then the 60s happened to the NFL, and everything kind of ground down to very, very, I would say 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, except the AFL. It was kind of wide open passing. All right, Chicago will now roll first for their scoring in the third, and they have a big lead, and they're going to make it, what's that, 18-21. They're going to score another 10 points, so Chicago is going to get a field goal here from Wims. So they are absolutely destroying this plus 5 defense. Chicago will also score a touchdown later, and that's going to be a pass. So finally, their quarterback, Bartram, now at this point, they've been run so well, the narrative tells me there's a play-action 11-yard pass to the flanker. The flanker is Jones. 11-yard pass to Jones. P.A.T. That's another 10 points for Chicago in the third. Can Twin Cities at least have pride? 10. Yeah, they're going to get a field goal. Looks like, yep. So Twin Cities Matthews is going to kick a 59-yarder. 59-yard field goal for them. At least they score in the third, folks, making it 24-34 to 10. Fourth quarter, Chicago's got it won, and they get the ball. They get to find out they're scoring first. 8 plus 3 is going to be another field goal. So Wims will add a final field goal to this route, and it's a 34-yard field goal. Twin Cities, let's get a big number, Twin Cities. Give me a 20. No, they're going to get shut out. Why? Again, series of punts. So no turnovers for either team. That's pretty outstanding. Twin Cities scores nothing. Wims tacks on a field goal just to make sure there's no feeble attempt at a comeback. So we got 14, 24, 34, 37 to 10. Twin Cities dropped to 0-2, and that plus 7 defense is going to probably, it's going to be the number one factor. Again, and if you want to understand how this narrative works, their defense is poor. They're 0-2, so again, we can look and say the Twin City Terriers are probably going to struggle all year with this defense. But if we want to know why they're so bad, their linebackers are horrific, +1. So they got solid defensive linemen, they got solid DBs, but they have horrific linebackers. So when you look at Twin Cities, you can see the details coming out. Their linebackers, once teams get into the second level, so once those blocks at the first level work, Dobson is able to get away from those linebackers with broken tackles. Dobson here. So I can look at these ratings and I can literally understand I can take the utter abstraction of this information and understand exactly how this stuff went down. And you don't even need these cards. I mean, you can just look at these linebackers and say, oh, they clearly took advantage of the linebackers. So there you have it, folks. That is Pen and Paper Football. Pen, Paper, Football. It is 9/20/25, and there is game 1 of week 2. Chicago against this defense in front of hometown fans gets off the snide. Dobson, by the way, in the first week of the season, Dobson had 2. So Dawson's got 5 rushing touchdowns for Chicago this year already, despite them being just 1-1. And again, it makes total sense with a smash mouth coach, right? They got a brilliant quarterback. They got a good receiving core. They actually don't have very good backs, right? So what that tells me is this team's Dobson, of what little bit of rating they have, it's all Dobson and that offensive line. So you can assume now, with this kind of results, it's his want to run despite not having the best back in the league, which is pretty cool, right? So again, you can start to see over the course of your careers when this number starts to change, where Grantham maybe, or if this number gets worse and they do poorly, you fire Grantham, start over. Pretty cool. This has been Pen and Paper, Coffee and Football. Thanks for watching. Good day.